Like to call to order the Beaver County Board of Commissioners work session for Wednesday, December 9th, 2020 at 10 a.m. A review of work session discussion meeting minutes. Didn't see any changes or questions. All right. Move to a department head report. Dan?
Obviously, the Constellation project is up and running. They are having some cases of COVID as well, so it's it's been put back on a schedule a little bit, but they're trudging through. So
I was going to ask Tony, but since you're here, carpet downstairs.
They had a delay last week, but they're going to start this Monday, the 14th.
The 14th. Okay.
Yeah, that's everything's delivered. The molding. They're going to do the. He said it would take about 4 days to do the ground floor, just
Sure.
the carpeting, and then once it's all done, they'll come back with the molding.
So it'll take them 4 days to tear it up
Tear it
and
up
lay
and do stuff.
on the first floor. Yeah. Basement floor, it's in the hall. It's on like the wall. Guaranteed, a lot of apartments watching over, he said. Next question, just, this is, I know we talked about this last couple of years, and, paving of parking lots. Ice Arena, our parking lot here, that I think the jail eventually is probably gonna need it soon. Would you recommend, if we're gonna start exploring that, to get one bid as one project?
absolutely, you're going to get a better price.
Okay.
by pulling it all as one project.
Okay, that's something we could just look into for, I think for springtime, hopefully. You know, I know you want to get early on the list of those projects, but I don't know if there's any MDJ's office that are bad shape. You know, that's, yeah.
But I actually budget money, building grounds, budget, it's $25,000. The football parking lot.
So it needs, okay. Okay, we'll just keep that on your radar.
You have a ballpark estimate on what?
We looked at the ice arena one time. Was it about 60,000?
I have this information on my corporate in my office.
Because you looked at this, our parking lot too.
We did course courthouse and the ice rink.
That's okay. Yeah.
It's only in Kansas. The earlier you bid it, the better price you're gonna get.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, we can always put something out for bid and not accept
Yeah,
it.
you don't have to award it.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. This is something you probably want to get out now because they'll probably shoot to start the paving again.
Right when weather breaks.
Depends on the weather.
Normally it's end of March.
And it works, you don't know, it depends on the weather.
Just start, put it on your radar, because I mean, you hear the complaints about the ice arena, and I know some areas in the back parking lot here and you look at. Any other department head report?
I know you're conducting interviews for the HR, and also, I think we're getting applications for the rec enforcement.
On Monday for my position. Yesterday on Monday. So 2 more scheduled for Monday and 1 and then waiting on a call back from one other.
Thanks.
We will move to solicitor's report.
Nothing for the public portion of the meeting, but I do have real estate matter, litigation matter, and some personnel matters to discuss in executive session. No.
Any questions for the solicitors? All right. Board of Commissioners. The only thing I have is, just budget again. I spoke with Corey yesterday and today. He's had no, really virtually no calls from department heads, elected officials, disputing the budget that the commissioners proposed. There's still another week. He said there are some things that he'll be in next week to talk about capital projects. He said there's one position that's open that somebody would like to fill. He said they didn't necessarily call after it was, he doesn't think that they know it's not put in there. So he said be prepared to make a decision on that once they realize it's not in there. Other than that, it's
We're gonna have a cutoff there.
I probably believe the Wednesday before is going to be his, or the Tuesday at the business day, so he can prepare for us for Wednesday to look at, review, and then vote on Thursday is what his plan is. So, and as of right now, it's status quo. He hasn't. The board answered all subsidy questions, so there's nothing. So that's all I have.
I got a few things just to follow up from some stuff from last week. We did get a RFP to review from community development folks so that they can put out on the homeless shelter. So hopefully they're on doing time to copies. I don't know if you want to take a look at that, but that will be going for the anticipated entity that would actually manage the homeless shelter.
You guys reviewed it yet? So
No, I'm giving it to them now. So
Oh, you guys were on the email.
I don't think they were.
Okay.
So, I can forward it to you. I want to make sure you guys saw it. I didn't see any issues reading through it last night, but would like your guys' judgment. The other thing is bags and blessings, and I gave some stuff to Tony Caltori on this. Has finalized the tree memorial program that they are doing in concert with us and DPW and the conservation district and stuff. They'll be issuing some stuff on that, and there's some nice options for people who want to donate trees and be planted in Brady's Run in memory of loved ones that they lost. Of course, Bags and Blessings has done a great job, particularly with cancer survivors and victims and stuff. So it's glad to see that get finalized. Because of some technical issues with grants that are used in our waste department and with the flow through money, her title will actually be sustainability in waste management. Waste management will stay in there. Otherwise, it will create a bunch of nonsense that we really didn't need. So just want to update that. We're having some conversations with some other tourism groups today. Maybe Tony to sit in on those to get some input from more folks on tourism needs going forward. And the last thing is, I don't know if you guys saw the CCAP priorities. I was on one of the virtual meetings where they were sending that from an economic development standpoint, and was just on another call this morning with educators from our school districts and the high school academies out of CCBC. And the 5 priorities from a CCAP standpoint, obviously election reforms as it is higher than this. That law obviously had a lot of flaws that we were hoping would get corrected, but that's higher there. But broadband expansion is still a high priority with CCAP. And given the difficulties that the high school academies have out of CCBC and the remote learning of the public schools, and I think last time I talked to Lance, we have about 2,000 households in Beaver County that have no access at all. Somehow, whatever we can do to support those efforts and continue the work that Lance is doing, I think is very important. The last 3 priorities are EMS crisis solution, protecting funding for human services, and increased funding for mental health services, all of which are vitally important. And I don't know what's going to getting close. I don't know what's going to happen with the governor and how much COVID is rapidly, exponentially increasing here in Beaver County. But just a political comment, to me, it's unconscionable. That a federal government or state government, the closures of small businesses and shutdowns and continuing to reduce their ability to have financial stability by closing down as a health crisis. You were asking small businesses to commit financial suicide. So now they have to decide, do I protect the health of people or do I commit financial suicide and go out of business? If there is not some kind of stimulus, some kind of aid to offset any measures that would be taken that would reduce hours and cause people to have to close down the business some more. It's just unconscionable to me that the federal government has not done more to get money into the hands of small business owners. We did the best we could, given the applications and the constraints we had. I wish we could have done more, but unfortunately, we were tied into the constraints that came to us from Harrisburg and from the Treasury Department. But whatever happens, and it's all speculation right now until something comes out definitively. I just really think it's impossible for government to dictate whether somebody decides to commit financial suicide and not be able to feed their own families and serve the public if these reduced hours or closures go into effect. It's just impacting the wrong people at the wrong time. I don't know what the answer is, other than you need something financially to offset what's going to be lost to comply with anything that would be introduced to protect health. So sorry to get on my soapbox, but this has been like for a long time, trying to balance the public health versus the financial viability of what is the heart and soul of Beaver County, our small businesses and nonprofits. And they can't survive much longer without some significant aid and significant help from the federal government. And I say that as somebody who's historically a deficit hawk and a fiscal conservative, but these are unusual times. We've got to do something. If you're going to ask people to make those kind of sacrifices, you can't kill the business at the same time. So, all right, sorry.
All right. Any other business? Audience participation? All right, no reason to reconvene here. All right, we'll move into executive session and not reconvene. Carolyn, please.
So they're all spread out.
If Eric's on